Hello, the Dawkins in, and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 219. Alright, last chapter, basically we have the fight between Yorozu and Sukuna continuing. Yorozu busts out insect armor in combination with liquid metal, and she gets some hits in. Sukuna debuts a couple of new abilities from the 10 Shadows technique. I wouldn't say, well, not exactly abilities, more like more of the 10 Shadows creatures. So he debuts two of them, Madoka Deer and I forget what the bull is, but it's a bull. And basically he washes the insect armor and he's pretty much putting her in a pack, but she's like, nah, I got a little bit more in the tank. And then that ends the chapter with her saying, I will reveal my heart. And presumably that means domain expansion, but we'll see in this chapter. And that's pretty much all the context you need for this one. Now, chapter starts off, interestingly, with a flashback. And basically we're in this village and we got some prayer guys. And basically some of them are discussing amongst themselves their situation. And what's the situation? Well, they're like, dang, why do we have to pray during the harvest festival to Sukuna? Like, it's kind of wild. And the other guy's basically like, hey, look, all right, Sukuna's built a little different. It's either we pray to him or whenever he gets here, because he's gonna get here eventually, he's going to wash all of us. It is not gonna be a pretty sight. And so that's why they're praying to him. Not necessarily because they want to, but because it's that or presumed death. Because it is also mentioned that like he destroyed some of like, I believe it's like the generals. That was kind of mentioned in the previous Yorozu flashback, but previous Yorozu backstory kind of thing. But basically, Fujiwara clan generals, he wiped them out. And so they're basically like, oh, so he's strong. So you know what? Let's be on his good side. That's not that. But also in this village, Yorozu is here. It seems that basically they kind of compare her to him where she's like, oh, they're both barbarians, which probably means murder hungry. And so yada, yada, yada. But we get a little bit of her and we have like her assistant kind of checking in on her. And it turns out she's naked. She's presumably a nudist because the girl's basically saying like, oh, you know, the people, I guess you could say the people who are in charge of me, the people I work for, whatever, they yell at me because you never wear clothes. And Yorozu's like, well, I yell at you. They say punish, but I mean, who knows what exactly that means. But I punish you in general. You should be fine with that. And she's like, well, it's different today. Today's the harvest festival. And so she's like, you know, just wear something. It don't even have to be the formal clothing. Just put something on, I beg. And Yorozu's like, fine, I'll put something on. Mostly just to get like the offering food. And the girl's basically like, no, you gotta chill. Like this, it's not that kind of festival. And Yorozu literally just put on a robe, basically just put on a bathrobe and started walking around. And as she's walking, she's crossing the courtyard and boom, Sukuna. Old Sukuna and Rame, but mostly Sukuna. And he looks pretty chill. Pretty chill. I mean, he's chilling, right? And she immediately, as she says, falls in love with him, runs over and like hugs his head and starts, I guess you could say, swooning over him. And she's like, oh, you know, it's okay. I'm here now. You're no longer alone. And then, of course, Rame's like, she tries to attack Yorozu and she's like, stay away from him. What is going on here? Like, the riffraff don't get to just touch God. And Rose was like, well, she turns it back around on Rame. It's like, oh, well, you're not allowed to be next to God because I'm gonna be his woman. And so therefore I get to stand right next to him. But she didn't even notice that at some point during this entire situation where Sukuna doesn't even look like he's moved, right? He's already slashed her so bad that she just goes down. So after declaring that she's gonna be with him, in all of, let's say, a minute of meeting him, he's already killed her. That's their whole interaction. That was it. That was the whole interaction. This it wasn't a lot of buildup, but the slight buildup of like, oh, you know, you got a fan, like you guys have a little bit of romantic thing going on, huh? And the reason why Sukuna is acting so despondent, well, part of the reason why Sukuna was probably acting so despondent is because he's like, I literally saw her for a minute and then killed her. What is going on here? What is this? Like, she never even heard me open my mouth, and you're trying to convince me that like there's some weird romance going on here. There's literally nothing here. But she's convinced. She's like, nah, that was amazing. Like he sliced me. It was everything. So now she's trying to get back into that. And so that is why she summons her perfect sphere to kill him. And so the sphere appears, and Sukuna's like, oh, it's a perfect sphere. And so basically the gist of it is, from my understanding, is that perfect spheres, well, what they say is that perfect spheres can't be created because they have to have like a perfect surface area and they're like hard to grasp and infinite pressure along its surface, whatever. My guess is that it basically gives it like a pseudo black hole kind of effect where because of how it is, it basically anything it touches gets destroyed because of the way it is. I could be wrong. This is one of those technical moments where it's like you gotta have like a certain kind of degree or background knowledge for this to make perfect sense to you. For me, it just, the effect is when it touches things, they disappear. That's all I really need to know. So from there, after summoning the perfect sphere, she moves it forward a little bit, activates her domain, 3 layers of affliction. It has like these weird spinal cord looking things in it. They could be heads, I don't know. But she summons it, and she's basically like, she's shocked because she summons it, and then she's immediately like, why is he summoning his domain? Like, doesn't he know that like my domain has a guaranteed hit effect with the perfect sphere, and then he's gonna get hit and then die? And he's just like, with this treasure, I summon Maharaga. Very casual, like the entire time she summoned her domain expansion, right? All this stuff is going on. The wheel's been spinning over her head, and because she's so effectively self-absorbed and up her own ass about this love thing, like he just casually does it. It's like she just does not notice until it's already happening. And so he kind of, I wouldn't say, he kind of swaps out with it actually, now that I think about it, because they have like a little wheel effect going on. And so comes in, Maharaga slices the perfect sphere, breaks it, and she's like, unbelievable. To think it destroyed a perfect sphere. And then the Maharaga then pulls back for a slice in, well, the domain's over. That's for sure. Let's put it in perspective. What happens in the in-between frames is that the domain is over and the sphere is gone. And then Sukuna then comes in, and he's basically, I wouldn't say he's talking shit, but he basically kind of analyzes her, and basically like, oh, techniques like yours, when poor cursed energy and efficiency, always tend to end up as one-trick ponies. When push comes to shove, you'll always fall back on what you're used to. It'll either be your liquid metal or your insect armor. I've already adapted to them. And so he basically says, you were never gonna win. You only got but so much to work with, and I already figured all of it out, so you're done. And then Yorozu, pure psychosis. Wow. I didn't realize you knew me so well. This makes me happy. And he gives her the most deadpan face ever. That is the face of somebody who's like, you must be retarded. But basically, delusion. Yorozu's totally deluded, but she's dead now. She's finished. She got sliced. He didn't use his technique. It's done. And so then she's like, here, take this. Think of it as me and always cherish it. And then we cut away from that. We don't actually see what she gives him, like at all. But from there, we see Megumi inside, I guess you say, the body, the soul area. And he's crying, and the chapter ends with, after taking his sister Sumiki's life, Shigeru's soul sinks into the abyss. End of chapter, no break next week. Let's go. All right, so this chapter, very, very good. I think it's a fine enough ending for Yorozu. You would kind of hope she would have gotten to do more, though technically she did reveal more that she can do, which is good. I'm all here for that. We also get to find out a little bit more about the hand area, which we kind of get a sense that Sukuna was treated like a deity during this time, but it was kind of like a begrudging situation where it was kind of like, as either we respect him or he disrespects us, and most people didn't want to get disrespected by Sukuna because that usually led to death, like with the Yorozu situation. So it was kind of like a begrudging situation, but he really was the honored one. He really was. We also get to see younger Urume, which still can't pick out the gender. I guess we just never get to do that, but who knows. Going from here, I don't know. Sukuna could have gone to buff, because technically if he took the thing from Yorozu, I mean, it could have been like a powerful cursed weapon or something or other, or it could just be bullshit. It really could be either, because we do know that Yorozu could create cursed weapons, so that is possible. But again, it could also be bullshit, because as we see in this chapter, she is genuinely insane, because the idea that she met him once for an instant, didn't even talk to him, literally the only way he addressed her was to kill her, and she's like so head over heels for him that the next time she sees him, she's like, oh, we must get married. You didn't talk to him. This fight was the first time you guys actually interacted at all. But I mean, hey, you know, I'm from the beginning, she was kind of set up, well, not the very beginning, because you could have made an argument she was like a Kashimo. The Kashimo, you could argue, is also insane, but she was not really set up as like a very sane character, so I'm not mad about it. It's just like, damn, that's crazy. Outside of that, I don't think there's too much else to discuss. Going forward, I don't know what we're gonna go to next. Oh, actually, nope, hold on. Megumi. Now, my theory is that Megumi isn't okay. He's in the darkness, right? And we do see him crying, so he's sad about the event, etc. But people have been theorizing that his 10 shadows technique works in the shadows, works in the darkness, etc., etc. There could be a counteractive effect where, as his soul sinks further into darkness, it kind of has like a reverse effect where it kind of brings his soul out more. All right. Now that is a little bit of a crackpot theory. It's a super crackpot theory, but it kind of links up. Now they could play it straight where he's just actually just gone now, which, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna be mad about it. But on the other hand, it would be interesting to have a situation where, like, because of all this sadness and darkness that exists within Megumi's soul, he thrives in the darkness, and so therefore actually is getting more control. But you can maybe make the argument that, like, you know, like, he's not gonna show that he has more control until the time comes, like maybe like, let's say Yuji versus Sukuna part 2 comes up, and it looks like Sukuna's about to have Yuji dead to rights. He's about to slice him in half, and instead it does no damage, and Yuji's able to get a crazy hit off on Sukuna. Sukuna's like, what the fuck? And then it's like Megumi, and then we get a scene from Megumi in his soul. He's like, you killed my sister, blah 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 blah. Or he's like, the further in darkness I go, the stronger I get. And then he like is able to take up the body or something or other. I mean, who knows? But again, crackpot theory, hella cope, but it's still possible. It's definitely not impossible based on the situation. If anybody was to be able to circumvent Sukuna's plan to sink their soul, it would be Megumi, because specifically of his technique. With that all being said, though, I think that is actually it for the chapter. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you like, and Zuck is out. Peace.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and watch the videos on the right. Other than that, the doc is out. Bye.